Welcome everyone. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here if the system will let me, and we'll get started. All right. Welcome to the Release Readiness webinar, session 2, feature details. There's some stuff in the way of me reading my own slides. I apologize for that. Let's just go straight into the content. All right. So we're here on the Wednesday, May 23rd. So we're going to drill down into a few topics today. So our drill down topics: Studio, aggregation, and the update process. And of course, we'll have the Q&A available as well. So hopefully all of you have attended the earlier session where we went over the release themes. So we have Studio, which we're going to go into great detail on, aggregation, enterprise readiness updates, and the IfThen procurement, where we had a demo in the previous session. So let's go ahead and go into Studio. So again, hopefully you attended the first session where I did a brief introduction on Studio. I'll go over this section quickly, but then I want to go into the greater details and into a demo, into the slides too much. So with Studio, we're introducing the ability to build out your own process-based applications, and that has the benefit of allowing you to support all of your services, not just the IT services that we provide the process modules for out of box, but you can build your own process modules and other things. We do it all with using our codeless configuration capabilities, so that allows you to do it quickly and preserves the ability to update to the latest release. And we do it all in a way that is easy to use. Your process owners to be more involved in the process of building and configuring their own modules. So 3 main use cases we're looking at. The one I'm going to focus on in the demo today is creating the user-defined process-based application. So that's the one that I'll be walking through, but you can also use it to create supporting tables, which could be linked in either with your new process-based modules or with the out-of-box processes. And we also, Studio really covers the full codeless configuration capabilities. So as we extend things like custom actions, which I'll show you in a little bit, you can use that, the modules. All right, so I'll skip over this one. This just shows the process, which I'll walk through in a second. So there are a few capabilities that we have that we're introducing as part of Studio with this release. So one is the ability to create new tables, including the forms, workflows, and business rules that go along with that, including the ability to create links between the table that you're creating and other entities in the system, other record types. You can add approvals on to your process module. You can create custom actions that call business rules, and you can define service level targets for your module as well. And there are some slides in here as backup that go into more detail on each of these. But really what I want to do is switch over to my running system and actually attempt to walk through that for you. All right, so let's go ahead and go into this. And I'll close that out, and we'll start here on the dashboard. Let's go to full screen so you have the best chance of seeing that. Hopefully you guys are seeing my screen. Somebody can shout at me if it's not displaying quite as well as we would like. All right, so we're going to start here on the dashboard, and what I'm going to do today is I'm going to walk through the process of creating really just a skeleton of a module, of a new module. So it's not going to be fully featured or anything because I don't have that much time available to me. So if I wanted to create a new process-based application, I would come in here to the mega menu under Administration Configuration. You can see it's renamed as Studio, and I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And of course, the sharing is in the way, so oh, fun. All right, so you go here to Menu, and under Menu, you're going to see the menu structure that we have, and this is how you're going to link in your new module. So I can go to Run, and I'm going to go ahead and add a new application level, and I'm going to call it Security Operations. I need to remove the space. Label here. Go ahead and add it. So that's the label that users will see inside the mega menu. If I go ahead and click on that, it's going to open up this next layer here, and I'm going to add a new record type, and we'll call this vulnerability response. Put in some labels here, and go ahead and new. I'm going to try to go quickly through this, so I'm likely to make a couple errors. Hopefully, nothing that will impede demonstrating the capabilities to you. All right, so now let's go ahead and adding the record to the record type to the system, and it create a whole bunch of default fields and things like that. So it takes a few seconds for it to go ahead and create. I can now click on the link, and it will bring me over into the details for this record type called vulnerability response. You can see these are the fields that we create as part of the record type. I'm going to go ahead and add a few new fields just to go through that process, and so I can activate the service level management part as well. So first thing I want to do is add description, and I'm going to description. I'm going to make that a rich text field. And then I'm going to add another one. Call this service. And that's going to be an entity link to actual service. Two more. Group. Entity link to group. And if you were doing this for your own module, you'd probably be adding a few more fields, but you also probably wouldn't be to do it in just a couple minutes as I am here. All right, and this one's going to be a link to an enumeration or a list. And the correct one, I want priority, dash slot priority. That's the one we're using for service level management. One more change I want to make, I want to change what we call display label to be title. I like that title better. All right, I'm going to go ahead and save those changes. So now I'll have 4 custom fields, 1 changed label on a field. And that's save. And if we switch here to custom, you can see my fields here: description, service group, and priority spelled incorrectly, I see now. Oh well, we'll have to live with that. Now I need to go ahead and configure my form. So you see we have the full vulnerability response form. I'm going to go ahead and add some fields to that. I'll add description, title, priority service, and group. And we'll go ahead and add it to a new section. I'll call my section general. And then I want to go ahead and take title, and I want to move it up to the top, and I want to make it full width. And I think that looks good, so let's go ahead and save that. And there's just a few of the things, kind of walk you through what's necessary before you are able to activate your module. So we have a new form. This one I'm just going to add a title and description. And go ahead. Oh, you know what? I do want to add more than that. I want to add priority, basically the same one, service and group. Go ahead and add that, done. And we'll again move title up and make it full width. Save that. One last form. What did I do wrong? I need to name my thing. Not sure what I did wrong there. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and do it again. Priority, service, and group. Add. Done. General. We'll move title up and make it full width. And there we go. The last form we need to do is the preview, and this is one where I can go ahead and just say I want let's make sure fill that in and go ahead and save it. I wonder if I'm just going a little bit too fast here. There we go. All right. So now I've created my table. I've created my forms. The last thing I need to do here is define my workflow. And it could be as simple or as complex as I want. I'm going to do a pretty simple one. So I'm going to say new workflow. I'm going to call it normal. My initial phase is going to be analyze. And then I have to define my meta phases. So I'll do analysis. Escalation. And done. So 3 meta phases, and then I'm going to go ahead and create 3 phases within those meta phases. So now that's creating. We should see that load up here in a second, and then we'll go ahead and finish creating the phases, and then we can go ahead and activate the module and create a record in it. All right, so now I have the skeleton. I can go ahead and add business rules if I want. If I click on normal, I see my workflow. We'll go ahead and create a connected phase. Call this escalate. Okay. It's going to create it within the analysis meta phase. I just come here to properties, and I can move it to the escalation phase. Create another connected phase. Close. And again, put it into the meta phase that I would like. Let's go ahead and save that. And at that point, now I can go WebEx is getting in my way again. So if we go back to the menu, run security operation. Now I can come here and I can activate my module. All right. And we'll go ahead and open a new tab. That'll reload everything. And then in this one, the mega menu should now have my new application area. You can see here under run, we now have security operation. If I click on that, hopefully I'm seeing something here, but hopefully you'll see security response. We can go ahead and create a new record. So vulnerability detected. All right. We'll go ahead and set it to a medium priority, and I haven't set up a service and group for this. This is a brand new clean system, which I would do. But we'll go ahead and pick some of those. So now we have a record in here. You can see I have my preview form on the side. All my filtering columns, group by capabilities are what you would be used to from using the system in any of the other modules. One thing I will do is come in here. I'm going to go ahead and add the priority field. Misspelled, of course. You can see priority. Medium there. All right, so let's go ahead and drill into the record, and you can see what we've created there. So the fields that I created, attachments, we can see the workflow. I can go ahead and escalate it. We have discussions and history available, of course, as well. Now what I want to do is go and add some of the other capabilities. So the first one I want to go ahead and activate is service level management for this module. So let's go back to Studio. Go back into here. So the last tab here is the SLT settings. We need to enable it, and we need to identify what our service field is, priority and group fields. So that's why I created those as part of my skeleton module here. So we'll go ahead and save that. Once I've activated it, now I need to go do the service level management configuration, which is actually pretty simple. So we'll go to service level. And we need to create a new service level target set for our new module. So we'll go ahead and create a new one. And we'll call this SecOps. And you'll notice, should have been there. Did I not save it? Sorry, I think I failed to save. Yes, I need to go back to go back into Studio. Yeah, I need to hit, nothing changed. All right, let's try this. We'll go into plan, service level, we'll open it in a new tab just in case. All right, so the first thing we need to do, again, is create our new target set. So let's go into new. We'll say SecOps. There it is. Vulnerability response now shows up as one of my target modules in addition to service request, support request, human resources, and incident. I'm going to have this be an SLA in this case. And I need to specify a target type. I can extend this list. I'm not going to in this demonstration. I'm just going to go ahead and pick resolution as my target type. You can go into the appropriate list and extend the target types. And we have a little helper here to initialize or help you set up the rules that control when, in this case, the resolution target type is going to start and stop for this module. So in this case, I want to start in the normal process, in the analysis metaphase, analyze. I want it to stop when, of course, when we're done. So in the close phase, we'll go ahead and save that. And save. All right. And this has gone ahead and created the rules which control when that resolution targets start and stop. I can go ahead and add conditions on these. I can make these rules more complex as I need to. For the demonstration, this is going to work fine. Now I want to set up an actual target duration. switch and just do it for a single. I'm going to treat all priorities the same. I don't want to set up more than one. And I'm going to say we have 0 days, 4 hours in order to resolve our security vulnerability that has been identified. All right. And now we need to go ahead and get out of there. I'm going to go into support agreement. And I'm going to select the default SLA, and I'm going to add my new target set to that. And that way, that any new record I create will link to that. So we have our SecOps target set now linked to this SLA. We'll go ahead and save that. Back to target sets, and I want to just go ahead and apply my service level management changes behind the scenes. And now we should be ready to go ahead and create a new security operation record. And this one will inherit, we'll pick up the service level management configuration. So new. Service. Again, because I did the default, it doesn't really matter which service or group I. System. Let me go ahead and refresh. All right, looks like it was created there. And now I'm going to go in, I'm going to add T, service level target, next target time to my grid. I'll see that there, and you can see, let me move this into the middle, so you can see now we already, for the new record we created after we configured service level management, we already see that we have 4 hours left on our service level target. And if we drill into the record, we now have the targets tab, and we can see the resolution target is active and when it is going to, when our target date is, and once we close the record, then it would show the achievement date. So that's looking good. There's 2 more things I'd hopefully have time to configure. So I'm going to go ahead and close some of these out. We'll go back to Studio again. All right. We can also add approvals. So I'm going to go to approval definitions first, and I'm going to add a simple approval. So the first thing I configure for if I want to use approvals on my module is an approval definition. And I'm just going to have a single approval node. And I'm going to call it Jason's approval. That's who I'm logged in as. I'm going to add an approver user of Jason. Because that way I can show you actually where it shows up. That's strategy. Strategy is going to be one must approve. Okay. And now we go to our we go into my workflow, and I'm going to just put the approval on the escalate phase. So if you want to add approvals, you select the phase, and then under properties, so not on the rules list, which is the default one, but under properties, you enable the approval plan. Go ahead and save that. And then we'll be able to select the standard approval definition that I just created. Save that. Another thing that we can set up kind of here at the same time is a new custom action. I'm going to create a new custom action. I'm going to call it urgent. Urgent. And I want this to call a business rule to set the priority to critical. So I'm going to go ahead and enable the workflow. And I'm going to have it show on the page in primary position and in the grid on secondary position. All right, so remember the name was urgent, that's what we called it. And now we need to go into the workflow and configure our rule that's going to be tied to when the user selects the urgent custom action button. So we come in here to processes and rules. In the after change section, we go ahead and add IfThen Rule to our set field. Let's go ahead and all right, I want to set priority to critical. Okay, I need to save it first because I didn't select. I need to add my condition to this, add condition. And then I have a little cheat over here from the documentation. This is the expression that I need to use. So let's go ahead and copy that and switch back to here and put that in. So basically looking, has the count changed and does it match our custom action name? Our custom action name was urgent. Okay. And, right, and then we'll go ahead and open a new tab. Network. Sorry about this. All right, so you now see we have the custom action button here that says urgent. Once I click on that, give it a second here, you'll see that the priority is going to update to critical. And there it is. And if we go in the history, we can see that we updated it from medium to critical. You'll also see that we now have an approval section. So we see that there is one approval in the escalate phase. It is currently not running. If I go ahead and move to the escalate phase, that should activate that approval. See, it's now in progress. And if we go ahead and go into the approvals part of my dashboard, we should see it there if I did the configuration correctly. Yeah, we see here's all the approvals. Jason's approval is there. And something that I like, if I go ahead and come in here to the service portal, second, you see we already have a notification here. Click on that. And the approval shows up in the service portal as well. So I could go ahead and approve it or deny it from here. And now it's empty. We go back into that. But that's pretty much what I want. I wanted to choose so the forms and the processes workflow.
Steve, the audio is pretty bad. You're breaking off. I guess we have a network issue with Steve.
Okay, Brenda, do you want me to go next?
I think so, because obviously we cannot hear Steve. We'll just have him to stop sharing. I don't know if he can hear us.
I can start share. How about that?
Try that, see if it works.
Okay, I think it works.
Yes. Let me see if I can ping Steve. Okay, you can hear us now? Okay. Because
I can't hear you.
You were pretty choppy for the last couple of minutes.
All right. I'm turning it over to Ankit now. Ankit, are you there?
Oh, yes, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that. So I know we have like 20 minutes and I need to go through 2 topics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to very quickly cover aggregation, maybe for 10 minutes. And then I'm going to talk about the new update process for the suite for SMAX for the next 10 minutes or so. So guys, if you don't know me, my name is Ankit Desai and I'm in the product management team for Service Management Automation Suite. And I'll cover the aggregation portions next. So it seems that we covered some of the details on aggregation last time around at a very high level. So I want to do a little bit of a deep dive this time around, go into more details on what does aggregation mean, but more importantly, going into more details on how does it work and even give a small demo. Okay. So this is just a repeat of the slide that we had last time. Aggregation for SMAX, okay, that really allows our customers to aggregate their catalog from backend systems into SMAX. Okay, so once the catalogs are aggregated, the SMAX system is going to be your system of record. Okay, and it pretty much copies things like title, description, user options, and so on and so forth, images like that, right? And then those are just copied into the SMAX catalog model. And once that happens, end users can just request those offerings in the through the portal, and the fulfillment will still happen in the backend systems, whatever systems it is aggregating from. Okay. So it's kind of like how Propel used to work, but a little bit different, because in this case, one of the biggest differences, the SMAX backend acts as a system of record, which was really unlike Propel. One of the initial release, I would say, is a couple of things. The first thing is it is a controlled availability release. That means there are certain, even though we think that the product itself can be used by our customers and tried it out in their environment, integrated to their version of Service Manager, but at the same time, we know that there's few things which might be missing from the feature itself. That's why we just want you to be aware of it. Okay, so it is a controlled availability release. And I'm going to go into more details on what that really means over the next few slides. And then the second one is, for this initial release, we only provide integration to Service Manager. Okay, additional integrations, especially we are looking at providing integrations to our HCM suite for some of the cloud brokerage capabilities into the portal, as well as looking at providing an SDK. So you can create additional integrations on using our SDK. Those are part of the roadmap over the next, in the short to medium time frame. Okay, moving on. So how does it really work? Okay, so aggregating a new offering, and I'm going to go into a little bit of a demo in next few minutes. I will not cover these slides in detail. But pretty much all you need to do is go to your catalog as an administrator, and then click on Aggregate an Offering. And once it happens, a new pop-up window will open up, which will have all the suppliers that this is connected to. Okay, and then you can just start to aggregate the offerings. It is quite simple, actually, extremely straightforward, very simple, and it just copies pretty much all the attributes, like, as I said, user options, images, title, description. It is also going to create a pre-built task plan whose only purpose is to work with an external fulfillment system for fulfillment purposes. And I'll show you how that really works. And then we also provide automated ongoing synchronization. So that means if in a backend system like Service Manager, if the offerings are being updated, okay, let's say if you change the title, you change the description, or maybe some images and so on and so forth in the backend system, there's going to be synchronization of catalog offerings from the backend system to the new system. So you don't have to manually copy or synchronize these offerings. So there's automated synchronization. Once the catalog and the offering is aggregated into the portal, now what you can do is, as an end user, you can start to manage and track your request. Okay, so you will see a task plan, which is an external task plan that you can click on, and it will show you a external fulfillment ID, in this case SD number. Okay, and it is going to show you, is going to map the fulfillment system status with the X status. Okay, so that means if in Service Manager there's a status called pending approval, pending fulfillment, whatnot, those different statuses will be mapped to X statuses, so that as an end user you can track your request in X. And then for any changes to the status or anything like that, they will automatically be synchronized. So if the changes to the status happens in Service Manager, then those changes to the status will automatically happen in the X backend. There's some considerations that you should be aware of when it comes to control availability, right? So one of the first configuration is, or one of the first consideration is the fact that we do not aggregate categorization yet. That means you need to select which category the catalog item will be aggregated to, and then manage your categorization in this SMAX catalog automatically, or manually actually. We do not aggregate entitlements also. So you will need to reset the entitlements in the new in the SMAX backend. It will work exactly the same way how your SMAX offerings work currently, and you need to work with that entitlement logic. The third one is since this is still controllability, we haven't been able to incorporate some complex dynamic options and complex pricing. So they have to be managed into X separately. Some of the bulk aggregation mode is not supported, so you need to aggregate the offerings one by one. There's certain user options which are not supported, like table lookup, radio buttons. There's some of the drop-down lists which are available in SM, but not those those data types are not currently available in X. Those are not yet supported, and there's few things like those, right? So we just wanted to be aware of it. These will be documented also in our documentation. But again, this is controllability, so we still want you to try it out in your environment integrated to Service Manager, if you have any, and then please provide us feedback directly to the product management team. Okay, let me go to the demo then. Okay, so this is a system that I have. Okay, and within within the catalog management app, you'll see various categories. Okay, in this case, we have 6 categories. One of the category being OS, PC, and printer. And within OS, PC, and printer, we have a category called PC Lifecycle. Okay, now what will happen is you'll see bunch of offerings here. Okay, now before I show you different offerings, I want to show you certain new things which are added to the backend here. For catalog aggregation capabilities. The first thing is you will be able to add a supplier. Okay, so you need to go and you need to create a new, and once you add title, you need to select. Right now it's only Service Manager available, but once more systems will be available, then you will see more backend systems here. And then obviously you need to provide all the information like your endpoint, your username, password, LWSSO, and all the stuff that you would actually need to integrate SMAX to Service Manager. Okay, so for the purposes of this demo, we have already added all this stuff and we have integrated a Service Manager system. And then you can also add content management. So this will be more relevant. Let's say if you want to add different kinds of content related to, let's say, a particular supplier, that will be important. But in this case, I'm going to go and directly go to the service catalog now. And now within the PC lifecycle, okay, you will see I can click on actions, and within actions, I will see a new button here or new link, aggregated offering. So this is where a new window opens up with all the suppliers. In this case, Service Manager is the key supplier that we have integrated for this demo. And you can do a couple of things. You'll see that in Service Manager currently there's 106 catalog items. You can paste through the items, okay, and then you can search for items that you want to aggregate. So this is a screen which will allow you to aggregate things. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for, let's say, any offering related to laptop. Okay, so I have about 6 offerings, actually 5 offerings related to laptop. I'm going to just aggregate one of them, okay. Okay, so now what really happened here is the offerings itself were in the previous screen, they were not aggregated, okay, but now once I click on aggregate, the offering itself got aggregated from backend system to SMAX, okay. And then I can just click on this new offering which I just aggregated. I can give it a name, whatever, right? Description, and again, all of these things are automatically aggregated from backend from Service Manager. You'll see the user options which are also aggregated. In this case, description, okay, which is the user option which was aggregated. Pricing is not aggregated currently, but you'll see there's a task plan, which is a fulfillment task plan, which was automatically created for fulfillment tracking purposes. In this case, what really happens is once this particular offering is requested in the backend system or in SMAX, the fulfillment happens in a backend system like Service Manager. Okay, so that's what the fulfillment task plan is really about. So what I'm going to do is at this point of time, I'm going to activate this offering and give it a name, custom laptop provisioning new offering. Okay, and that's it. I'm going to save it and make it active. Okay, so once this happens, you will see that custom laptop provisioning new offering. This automatically showed up in the service portal within a specific category. Okay, so I can click on it. You'll see the description, the title, details, right? Everything, all the fields that we have in the backend system got aggregated. I'm going to give it a name. I need a new laptop. Sorry, I'm going to add a description or justification. Description of work. Okay, and then I'm going to hit submit. At this point of time, there's a request number that gets generated, which is a SMAX request number. I can look at this record generated. Okay, so I'm going to click on that. So you'll see here that the task plan itself is not currently running. Good. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to assign it to the service desk. Administrative services, and I'm going to categorize it and provide a few values for service and the category, and I'm going to hit save. Okay, once I hit save, you'll see that the task plan has now gone to in progress. Okay. And I can click on the task plan itself. Yeah, and I can click on the task plan itself. Right now, I think this particular offering is not working, but let me go you and show you another one, which I know I was trying it out and it worked. Okay, hold on. Okay, so this one is the other one, which is which I requested earlier, and I can show you very quickly on how that worked. Okay, so this one I tested earlier. So custom laptop provisioning. So this particular one, you'll see that this is again integrated to Service Manager, aggregated from Service Manager. And then you will see a request. You'll see the ID 17013 and 17014, which is a request ID, and you can click on it, and you'll see a supplier ID SD10508. Okay, and let me go to Service Manager and show that to you. So the same offering is shown here in Service Manager, custom laptop provisioning, and the same offering in Service Manager also shows up here as 10508, right? So you see that the critical point here is that the laptop provisioning offering, which got aggregated from Service Manager into SMAX, and then now as an end user, you can request those offerings in SMAX, and then those will show up in Service Manager as a supplier request ID. And with its own supply request ID from Service Manager being allocated here in the SMAX system that end users can use to track the request. Obviously, you can add more attachments, you can add descriptions and so on and so forth, and those will also be synchronized in the backend system. Okay, in the interest of time, I need to move along. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the slides on update process. So I'm going to go through the next section very quickly. I went through the details of the new in-place update process that we have for the SMA suite in the last Release Readiness webinar, but let me go through this very quickly. So as you recall, we have in-place update process for the SMA suite that we released in this May release. It allows you to upgrade your system from February to May, okay, with an in-place update process. That means it will be a rolling update. System will have minimal downtime. That means system can be down for a few, from 30 minutes up to, let's say, an hour, right? But not more than that. And at the same time, while the system is being updated, many of the components will still continue to run. Okay, so we have made sure that this minimal downtime as well as this in-place update process works when you are updating your SMAX system. And the way it really works is it depends on the service dependencies. Okay, so there's a bunch of services which are dependent on each other, and we actually look at which services are dependent on each other and update the services accordingly, according to the compatibility of the backward compatibility of the service and how services are dependent on each other. I think I went through some of these slides. I'm going to skip those and go directly to the demo itself, and let me show it to you on how the update process works. So for this, I have a video, obviously, because in the interest of time, we don't have time to do a live demo of the update process because that would itself take a few hours. Or at least half an hour to an hour, right? But at the same time, let me run through this video very quickly. So now we have a February release, which was just deployed in this demo. The first thing you would do is you would actually look for you'll actually look for your latest release. So you will download CDF, you will download the suite images. Let me see if I can make it full screen. Okay, so you download the suite images, download CDF from Docker Hub. You will add new NFS volumes, especially for the May release. We have added few NFS volumes for RabbitMQ and other components. You'll need to add those NFS volumes, and once those NFS volumes are added, it will show a page saying that, okay, now you're updating from a February release to May release, and you hit update. When you hit update, a counter is going to start. This actually it just shows you for demo purposes that how much time it really takes. You will see that bunch of suite services are now being updated. So in few seconds, you will see that. Yeah, so all these suite services which are now being updated, IDM, AutoPass, service portal, and so on and so forth. Now, as the suite is being updated, a few minutes into the update cycle, service portal will continue to work for end users. Okay, so you can open up the service portal, create a new ticket, go through the process of checking the status of the ticket, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that will happen. However, after about 5 minutes or 7 minutes or so, the service portal will not, as the service portal components are being updated in the backend, there's few minutes where service portal will not work, whereas the critical components are being updated. And you will see that I'm going to skip the video. Okay, so at this point of time, into 5 minutes into the update process, the service portal is now down. But you will see that agent interface in the backend still continues to work. Okay, now the agent interface is still available or accessible, and then I would say the agent interface continues to work for a significant amount of time. I would say maybe 20-30 minutes it continues to work, but there's some time after like 15 minutes or so or 20 minutes, this agent interface also does not work, but service portal is again working. But so there's going to be some back and forth between some of the services are running, but the critical part here being that your downtime for the suite is minimal. Okay, so the whole suite update process would take anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes, And even during those 30 to 45 minutes, most of the times the components are running, except a few minutes where actual critical systems are down, and we have to make those update those systems in the backend. Towards the end of the process, when all the binaries are updated, you will update your tenant or move your tenant into the new systems, and that's it. And at this point of time, things are completely working 38 minutes into the process, and the update has been completely successfully completed. I think I'm done. This was the last one I think I had. So Producer, back to you, or Tanya.
Thank you, Akesh. I can close up the meeting. Thanks everybody for attending. We'll have the recording posted soon for your colleagues that's going to attend. And if you're looking for a copy of the slides, just email me directly. Thanks, Steve.